actually happened.
So I'm Liam. I'm co-director of Crocodile. Crocodile was kind of the second film I've made. The first film, Frankie, who wrote it, it's the first film she'd written, and she was in it. And so it was a very, like, low budget, pulled a lot of favours kind of film. But I think it was, I really liked the story, I really liked the way that the script was, and yeah, I think it was what it was.
My name's Richard Howe, and I did the show around Lapland mushroom. And having visited Lapland in the winter and in the summer, I realised that you never really get to see what it looks like in the summer. You only see like depictions of it in the winter, whereas it's so beautiful and there's so much nature there, and that'd just be really good to show in the summer months. But also, when you go looking for things like mushrooms or reindeers or hares, you have to take time. So I didn't want it to be easy for the viewer just to see. So then I like to keep in all the bits where it was out of focus. So then you had to like journey a bit like if you were going hunting or something. And then so I was really like Jack Howard and the Beats when they did like those sort of travel, on the road and different type of truth, because you see it just as it is, you just get like one take. And also the person wouldn't have done 2 takes because they were like, we're having fun doing a hike, I'm not going to, that's it, I have to do more than 1 take with everything, so it just came together nicely.
I think it's a really interesting point of like, as a documentary filmmaker, and I appreciate you guys do narrative films and we'll come on that a little bit, but like, a documentary is a person's version of the truth, and that's your version of the truth, like you've not done takes to show a specific thing, this is what you saw in that moment. Did you plan the shots that way? It's like, oh, this is where I'm going to show hares, and did you do lots of shots until you got that, or was it just literally, this is the footage, and this is what I saw on that occasion, here you go?
All the animals happen naturally, although I'm really quite close to like inhabited areas and houses and holiday homes and roads and things. Whereas the mushrooms, we did seek them out, but we had like a bit of a sense of where to go and look from having like walked those paths before.
Okay.
But you can never quite be sure whether they're going to be there or not. Not necessarily on the same day. Sometimes even the previous year we walked on that road and it's like, or that path, and you're like, oh yeah, there might be some of the big red ones, or the furry puffballs, or the different ones. So, yeah. You could plan so much.
Thank you. I don't think conversations around genre are always interesting, but sometimes they are. Is Crocodile a fantasy because no one ever gets that level of closure, therefore represent something ideal to you personally, and feel free to answer that in a way that's not as intrusive as it sounds in my head?
Well, it's more the writer's idea, but I guess we were going for something where a guy often wants that kind of closure, and he wants to come and make a point, and then maybe he doesn't quite get what he wants in the end of it. And so yeah, it kind of is a bit up for discussion whether he gets it or not, or all that kind of stuff, but I guess in a way it's kind of his fantasy of how he wants to get closure from it, and it doesn't quite go the way he wants it to go. That's probably the way I'd say it's the fantasy. Yeah.
In Benji, it's coded as a horror, I think, with the music and kind of the way it's shot, but it's also quite funny. Is it deliberately both those things?
Yes.
And if so, how difficult is it to achieve those things simultaneously?
I think quite easy actually, because of the contrast of the ad world with the big tonal shifts in it. That was kind of what I was going for. Is that those sort of rug pull moments, or those switcheroos where you think you know what you're getting with it, but all of a sudden there's a big tonal shift. And, suddenly you're like, where am I? What is this?
Yeah.
That had so little dialogue for you.
A relief. No, it's sort of similar to that question. I thought the reason I liked it so much was because it was funny. Because it kind of took me by surprise, honestly, at the end. I was like, I'll see what this is, like a quirky genre piece, and then you're like, oh my god, I think I might be crying in a coffee shop because you're like, I would have hated it probably if it had not had that, because it would have, otherwise it's too much. It's really a lot. And like Oscar said, he wrote it in lockdown. I've had like loads of trials as well, and like it was from a very deep place, and it has to be, I felt, within that. It had to have that levity as well, so that it wasn't too much, because it's so bleak, like you say. But the idea of like putting yourself in a bin, come on! I mean, it's an amazing metaphor. So simple, but I thought that for me, like the fact that it was couched in that ad world and the fun of it made it. If it is profound, that's what makes it profound, and I felt it was, and that's why I was so interested to do it. But so the comedy for me is like a completely crucial element of it having any impact at all.
It was a fun balancing act, wasn't it? And it was good to hear audiences' responses to moments like the reveal of you just.
Yeah, I'm glad that was a laugh.
And the reveal of you just butt naked in front.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think that even in the sort of the weirder moments, we still get laughs, which is bang on what we
When you're standing naked in the kitchen, when you're like, is this going to read?
Yeah.
Sticking with scripts and dialogue, Rich, the voiceover work on yours, is that live, or is that something that you went back and edited to make the footage fit more the story you wanted to tell?
Well, one of the Kino shorts notes we had Kate and Mason, some people made a really lovely film, and then I thought, well, maybe, it's good to have a little bit of some of the information that I learned from the museums or in Time magazine or different things about how, the quality of the oxygen there, because Finnish people, and they're really, really proud of, they've got the best, oxygen and in the world, and NASA rated #1. They like to tell you, but I got told it 3 times in 2 days, so I thought this can't really not go in. So and my wife and everyone's very proud of these things, and so it's we just thought, I thought it might be nice to help guide the person into the film as well, because maybe with the out of focus bits, I thought maybe you need to help people a little bit, because I don't want to be too oblique or something, just to, wanted to be a bit smoother with the the plane landing, and then you go into the nice in the skies and things. So.
It's quite a dark film that you made, I think. Also, you guys have mentioned that. But like in terms of making it as a small filmmaker community, what moments of joy did you find in making that film?
I think that it went well. I think that making films is an expensive process for a lot of people, and it's not the most accessible thing for a lot of people, and to be able to pull in a lot of favours and not really spend much money other than like non-alcoholic beers and then alcoholic beers was good, and just to know that you can do that is possible to be able to do. I don't know. I think it's funny because when it's put alongside, your guys' film and some of the other comedy films, you're like, oh shit, that is pretty dark. So maybe I didn't have that in mind that it was going to be around the films, but no, I think the whole process of it was joy. Yeah.
Thank you. And before we take some questions from the audience, I'm going to start with you guys. What is next for yourselves and for Benji?
Benji feature. That was my first time writing, directing anything. So I'd never really, because I mostly just shoot. I'd never really thought about the possibility of writing, directing. But there's something really, really satisfying and quite addictive of taking an idea from inception to right the way through to completion. So I'd love to do more. I've got an idea. I want the next one to be an idea that I've had for a little while called Channeling Walter Fishman. It's about this odd little hermit guy who lives on the ground in a concrete bunker and believes is possessed by a spirit called Walter Fishman, who, using him as a vessel, makes shit electronic music. So we'll see if I can. I've written myself into a really difficult corner with there only being one character, but we'll see how that goes.
Well, my hope is to audition for the role of Walter Fishman. That's being made. And then, no, most likely you'll probably see me pop up in like a popcorn advert or something. Most likely as an actor. But then, but actually, funnily enough, I've now fully collected Oscar, and my brother's just completing a screenwriting masters, and he sent me a short that he'd written as part of his course. I was like, no, that's good. So I'm going to direct that. And I wrote Oscar in to like help make it over summer. So we'll do that over summer. Beautiful script. Yeah, it's really nice. It's like a coming of age story of two kids on their last day of summer before they go to different schools. And yeah, really looking forward to that because I've always coached a lot of actors and I love getting performances out of people. And I've directed theatre, but I've never directed film. And I don't know why I've never done that. So now's the time. So I'll do that.
Awesome. Thank you. What's next for you, Liam?
I've got 2 more films I'm working on. One's a script, one's another film which was with another guy. We had a film as part from the Kino, Bang, that one, yeah. And yeah, so I'm going to make another film with him, all on very little budget, but we'll see how that goes this year.
Oh, thank you. And Rich, I believe you're working on a feature.
Yeah, there's a longer piece that I'm editing at the moment, which is about someone going out for a night out for the first time in a nightclub, and then their people's parents are only about 16 or 17 when they had them, so they're quite worried. So then they go and follow them to the nightclub to make sure she's okay. And then there's a science fiction short that's quite silly, funny, and that's in sort of. Just got to do the VFX in Ainsdale Beach. That's called Beach Borstal.
So, look forward to seeing all those things. Are there any questions from the audience? Go.
This is for Benji. I really enjoyed watching it. I thought it was really funny. And so there's like a 2-part question. So for the director, obviously it starts out kind of like as a commercial and it's like a family thing. Why exactly did you choose to explore like the father's perspective as opposed to everybody else? So that's the first question. And for the lead actor, how did you kind of get in the mind space of playing the actor? Those are the questions.
Let me just remember.
I'm not sure. It's quite an interesting question. I wonder. I wrote it. It was essentially just born from a feeling, a sort of existential, lost, searching for meaning kind of feeling in lockdown. And I think when I wrote it, I essentially just mapped myself onto the dad character. I guess I just saw a lot of me in that character. I think that's why when I found you in that short film, I resonated so much with it because I just saw a lot of you in the version of me that I wrote in the script, if that makes sense. So I think it's just that. I think it's just I'm a guy. There's a lot about this father character that is part of me.
And then was the question? Sorry, how? Ask it again.
Okay. How did you get into the headspace of the character?
I think, well, similar, I guess, to Oscar, that like it resonated with me. You know, I've suffered with depression on and off quite a long time, and so that landed. I understand that feeling of being disconnected and feeling very sad at times, and then I guess at the time I now do have a daughter, but I didn't then, so I didn't like have like get in the mindset of that. But I think you just get in a place of like. I think my approach is I really try always to just be very open. And in the past I would have probably, when I first like graduated drama school or like at drama school, I'd probably have gone like, okay, how's this going to look? And like, what line do I need to cry on or something like that? And that was the complete opposite nowadays. I'm like, no pressure to do any of that stuff at all. just going like more. In fact, more try and get in the heart space. We're going to be that kind of wanky rather than the head space. But that'd be like, let's see, and just go. Oh, I'm about to lose it. I feel like I've lost everything. I want to lose everything, or like my family, but I don't feel it, and this is all that's left. And when you like let yourself be in that place, it's like that's it really.
We sort of replaced read-throughs with just having nice chats about life, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah. Our rehearsal was like a couple of pints, and like just chatting
Games,
shit,
essentially.
basically. Yeah.
That's the key. There's at least one more, I think. National Award-winning director Millie Hine, please.
Yeah. My question's for Benji as well. Just on the directing sort of towards the end, where it feels like a lot of VFX, but obviously you're not directing with an actor in that. I mean, there is an actor there, but there's elements that aren't. So, kind of, how did you approach that, and how did you find that?
I mean, well, all of it was with you in the. We shot it in a black box studio. Well, actually, it was like a school hall or something, wasn't it? We just threw up some black drapes and created a little black space, and just had you sort of essentially balancing on an apple box,
Yeah.
waving
Like this,
about,
basically.
yeah, like that. And so essentially, we just had a black background, and then everything was added in post, all the stars and things. The wide shot of the ether with a tiny gym in the distance, that was a shot of you, wasn't it, naked in that school hall. Just sort of shrunk down and superimposed on there, but yeah,
that's actual size.
huge shout out to our VFX guy Paul
Yeah.
Mark. He did such an insane job. I mean, everyone just pulled.
That black box setup was amazing. Because I was like, how are they going to do this? And we went into just like
Did we
like
explain any of it to you? Or?
No, I just like got driven to this like community centre or something. Like it's in there, like what past this little bar, and they go in and there's like a raised stage and they just draped it. I was like, how's that going to work? And then it just
There was a lot of like hoping and praying it was going to turn out. But yeah.
Awesome, Maggie, and thank you for your questions, guys. I think we need to crack on with the second half of the programme. If you were in the first half, please stay for the second half.